Hey, this is Hussein Abbas. You can find me online as Hussein Web. It's over a month since Drupal 9 was launched, and you might remember me posting several videos celebrating its release. I, in fact, also posted a video where I installed Drupal 9 with Lando, and you can find all of those videos in the links in the description below or by clicking on the links above. Anyway, I didn't update any site I actually used to Drupal 9 until today. The reason is simple. While Drupal 9 is exciting, it's also boring in a way, in a good way. I'll write more about this in the coming days and put links in the description below and tweet them out. So please make sure you subscribe to me on the YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter for those links. Back to the topic. I didn't upgrade to Drupal 9 because I didn't need to. All the features, and I mean all the features in Drupal 9.0 are available in Drupal 8.9 right now. Drupal 9 is basically Drupal 8.9 minus all the deprecated code. So there's no reason for me to update just yet. Of course, Drupal 9.1 will come out with new features which won't be in Drupal 8, but that's in December 2020. I have a few months to plan for that update. So what do we need to plan? It's mainly the custom and contrib modules and themes you might be using on your site. I have many sites that I have updated to Drupal 8.9, but not 9, because there are a few modules which have not marked stable or even beta releases that are compatible with Drupal 9. I am not keen to switch to a dev release or apply composer hacks along with some patches to make sure that my site runs on Drupal 9 before time. I'll worry about all of that if I really need to in December. I don't want to make my life harder, right? Also, Drupal 8 is supported for quite a while. I don't need to rush into upgrading anything right now unless I need to. So let's get to today's topic where I upgrade a site to Drupal 9. I was able to upgrade this one because all the modules that it used have proper releases for Drupal 9. There were a few modules which didn't, but then I was not using those modules anyway, or only occasionally using them. For example, module filters dev release is compatible with Drupal 8.9, but the proper release, the stable release is not. There is no stable or beta release which is compatible with Drupal 9. So I just decided that I can live without this module for a few months until there is a tagged release. I don't really need to switch to a dev release just so that I can update to Drupal 9. Other than that, I also updated some of the composer packages and configuration, but that's not directly related to Drupal 9, and we'll not go too deep into that over here. So let's look at the site itself and the modules. As you can see, the site is on Drupal 8.9.1 right now, and there are a few warnings, nothing that's relevant to us right now. I can ignore all of them for now. And we'll look at the updates. As you can see, the site is fairly up to date. The only updates that are listed are Drupal 9 and one module which has a major release. Now, this module is a little different right now because one of the transitions, one of the features of Drupal 8 to 9 transition was that modules could simultaneously support Drupal 8 and 9. So let's look at another example, a popular module like Path Auto, and it supports, you can see this release, it supports both Drupal 8.8 and 9 at the same time. So right now, while I'm on Drupal 8.9, I can use Path Auto 1.8 release, and when I upgrade to 9, I don't need to change the module at all. It is compatible. And it makes sense because, like I said before, Drupal 9 is exactly same as Drupal 8.9. So whatever API, whatever features you have in 9.0, you also have it in 8.9. So even if a module needs certain features in 9.0, they are available in 8.9. However, for some reason, permissions by term, that module is not doing this for some reason, and I'm not really sure why. Over here we can see that there is a 2.x release which requires Drupal 8.x. It is not compatible with 9. We also see that over here that it's not compatible with 9.0. And there is a 3.x release which requires Drupal 9 only. It doesn't work on 8.9 for some reason, or it has been marked that it will not work on 8.9. I'm pretty confident that it could work because, like I said, the API is identical. Whatever is supported on 9.0 is present in 8.9. We'll only have this problem when 9.1 comes out. However, for whatever reason, the project maintainer has decided that the 3.x release won't work on 8.0. 8.x, and the 2.x release does not mark is not marked as compatible with Drupal 9, which makes it a little tricky to update this site, but it is still possible, as we'll see. All the other modules, all the other themes are fine. We don't need to worry about them. And one way to quickly check this is by running Composer itself. So this is a Composer backed website, and there is a I'm going to run Composer why not Drupal/core 9.0.1. Basically, this tells me why isn't this package installable. So let's see what it says. We can ignore most of the output over here. It's basically some of the dependencies of Symfony, and when we update Drupal core, these dependencies will also get updated, so we don't need to worry about that right now. But we need to worry about permissions by term, which is marked as requires Drupal/core 8.0, which is what we saw on the module page as well. And Drupal/core recommended, again, that's part of Drupal core. We'll of course update that. So when we are updating Drupal core, we'll also have to update permissions by term at the same time. So let's look at that. Let's try to do that. So this is the command I'm going to type: Drupal/core composer require Drupal/core recommended, and I'm going to say 9.0.0, then Drupal/core composer scaffold. I'm going to update that as well to 9.0.0, and since we want to update this module at the same time, I'm going to say that I want 3.1.0 for that, and I'm going to say update with all dependencies. I could be a little safer and say update with dependencies, but I'm not really that worried, the differences. I can straight away say update with all dependencies, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it has started its operation, and since I'm doing a screen record, this takes somewhat longer. Okay, all right, that's a typo on my part. I added extra space. Okay, let's fix the command and rerun it. All right, so Composer tried to update it, but it tells us there is a problem, that Drupal/core recommended requires Symfony/vardemper 5.1, and it's not satisfiable. And there is a whole log of what different versions it tried. We don't want to get into that. We know Symfony/vardemper is one of the problems, and this happens. Even though we have specified update with all dependencies, there are certain dependencies which for some reason don't get marked for an update. So in that case, we explicitly have to say that, okay, update this dependency as well. So one of the things I could do is update it at first. So something like composer require, I'll get this Symfony/vardemper 5.0 update with all dependencies. But this probably won't work because Drupal 8.0 depends on Symfony 3.x, right? And Drupal 9 depends on Symfony 4, and those dependencies get somewhat tangled. So let's see if this works or not. It's worth trying, but then there are other ways to get around this, which we'll get to. Yeah, like I said, it's not. It says remove Drupal/core 8.9.1, which makes sense. If we want to go deeper, we can certainly. Let's just do it for this. So let's see composer/y. Oops. Symfony/vardemper. Yeah. So it says that, well, actually it should, it's not marking Drupal/core recommended, but from the log we see over here that, yeah, it cannot work with 8.9.1. So we need to again do it at the same time. So I'm going to go back to my first command. I'm going to add Symfony/vardemper over here itself, 5.0. So what we're going to do, what will happen when I run this command is Symfony/vardemper will get added to my composer.json's require. And I don't want that, but at least to get this moving ahead, I'm going to add this for now. And once the update is done, I'll remove it. So let's run this. All right, so we have another problem. Not a surprise because, yeah, it gets a little complex. The dependency trees, it's too deep. So again, we just need to glance through this quickly. It says that it requires Symfony 4.4, but it's not able to satisfy that. So we'll try the same thing. We could again try that composer requires Symfony/process and all that, but it's probably not going to work. I'm just going to straight away add it over here, symfony/process, and we want 4.4, right? So I'm just going to say 4.4, and let's see what happens with this. All right, so we have another dependency problem. Consolidation/site process. Who needs this, by the way? It's okay, it's Drush. Well, I'm just going to add this to the same command as before. And I think the problem is that it's logged at 2.1.0, but we are going to say that, okay, require 4.0. So let's see what happens with this. All right, it's working. Like we can see that it's removed some old packages. It's updating a lot of Symfony packages. Mostly Symfony package updates are also major. Like you can see from 3 to 4, in many cases 4 to 5 in some other cases. So that's good. It looks like it's working. All right. And Drupal core itself is being updated. And yeah, our module Drupal/permissions by term also has updated. This is sometimes a problem. Couldn't I delete? Yeah, so Drupal commonly write protects the default directory. So I'm just going to make sure it is writable and rerun the command. So it seems to me that it has modified composer log. So I'm just going to revert that as well. And rerun our command, our long require command. I hate this errors, this runtime exception errors, could not delete it. It commonly appears in when I'm running composer install, and then it leaves it in a weird state. This also happens sometimes with git pull and everything. And the problem is, so both composer and git pull, they try to enable write on the file before they do that, but they don't do it for the folder, which makes it fail. It's a bug, and it's also like a weird bug. It's the default folder which is not writable, not the file itself. And because of that, it cannot delete. Anyway, okay, so we have required, okay, it has updated composer.json, it has updated the files. Let's make sure our composer.log and composer.json both are updated. It looks like it is. Let's just verify quickly. So now we have in our composer.json, we have site process, we have Symfony process, var dumper. We're just going to remove them in a minute. But let's take a look at composer log. And it looks like it has updated correctly. And now we are going to remove the 3 packages which we didn't want. What were they? It was Symfony/var dumper, Symfony/process, and consolidation/site process. Yeah, I had it in my clipboard, so I'm going to remove them. It's not actually going to remove the package because it's still part of the dependency tree, right? It's just going to remove it from the composer.json. It will update the log file hashes and everything. I could directly edit the composer.json, but then the log file hash would be incorrect. So I'm going to follow the composer commands to do this. So as you can see, it's running this command. Again, it takes time because of the screen, screen recording. It says nothing to install or update, or basically nothing to change because, like I said, these packages are still required. I'm just removing it from my main composer.json. And let's take a look if it has gone. So my main composer.json is just the 3 updates that I actually care about. And that's how it should be. My composer.json should only list packages that I care about. Right, so we see the change in core composer scaffold, core recommended, and permissions by term. Everything looks okay, and I'm going to run drush updatedb, hoping it works. Okay, it doesn't work. Docker has this with the file caching and all that. It gets a little tricky, and for like a major change like what we just had, sometimes, in fact, I sometimes have to restart Docker itself. But let me just restart Lando and see. Okay, so I essentially had to restart Docker to get this working. Unfortunately, I can't wait for Docker's new file sharing or file caching mechanism, mutagen, to come out. or I'm actually thinking of some alternate mechanism where I can remotely work on a Linux based machine. Anyway, all it's all up, Docker on Mac, file system performance is painful. Well, anyway, that's out of the topic. Let's see. We have updated, we have run cache clear and all that. Let's see what we see right now. I'm just going to refresh this page. Since it's just gotten back, it might take a while, right? So we see that Drupal 9 update is successful. We have 9.0.1. We also see two errors: configuration sync directory not present. It says my settings.php should define that. That's weird. I had already defined it. Anyway, that's something I need to check. And database updates, so that means I need to run rush update db. So let me run that. Meanwhile, I'll see why doesn't my settings.php have that. So one of the things is that default.settings has been updated. I need to sync that as well. So you can actually do that. I think my rush update db has failed. Okay, Drupal has again marked it as right. Earlier, when PHP Storm could not remove that right flag, but I think they have fixed that problem. So let's see what changes it has done. I'm just restoring settings.php to what it was and find that setting which should be there. Okay, it's not there. I think I should add that. I guess rush update db. Yeah, that's the thing it has. That's the thing it's saying. So let me add that. Okay, it's not inside the file. I'm just going to add it at the end and say that this is what config/sync. And come on, screen recording really slows down everything. It cannot save this because of settings.php again. Drupal keeps marking it as keeps removing the right permissions on this. That's really painful, always painful. All right, so I think this should be enough. Let's try running rush update db again. That's weird. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it didn't get saved. It looks like it did get saved. Am I overwriting it somewhere else? Okay, it doesn't look like it. Anyway, this is like the last thing. I'm sure it's something very simple that I'm missing out. Yeah, let's copy it from here. Makes more sense. All right, so I'm just going to again, maybe it should begin with a slash. No, that doesn't make sense. That would break things, I guess. Again, config/sync, that's supposed to be the directory. Okay, let's run this again. It looks like it's working now. There are a few updates that it needs to run. Okay, uninstall class if it is no longer needed. All right, uninstall simple test. Okay, I don't think I had these themes enabled anyway, but nice. Yeah, it's just making sure that all of these things run. Simple test is long deprecated. Okay, so I think our updates have run. None of this looked like actual config changes. Oh no, there is one config changes, so I also need to make sure that I export the configuration. Let me do that. And meanwhile, these errors should disappear. The warnings are from before, nothing new over here, and everything else looks like it's okay. You can see from the updates list we have Drupal core 9.0.1. All the others are updated, and permissions by term is also 3.1. Okay, and as expected, we have some config export changes, core.extension and serialization.settings. Let's see what's the change. Okay, entity reference disabled. That's weird. Okay, stable and classy is disabled. Fine, that's okay. Serialization settings, this is gone. This is weird. Why is entity reference disabled? Anyway, okay, that's further testing for me. But we have the site running. It looks like it's working. I'm just going to open the home page and see it looks okay. There's no content on the home page at least. And the content page, yeah, it looks like it's okay. Maybe entity reference has more to core. I do remember reading something about that. So maybe that's what has happened. So that's the end of our upgrade. I'm going to just commit these changes. The changes that I need to commit again are all of these changes to my settings.php and the config changes. I'm just going to add all of these right now. And web/sites default. Yeah, and I'm going to commit this and push, and that's the end of my upgrade. I hope you found this video useful. If you did enjoy it, please like and please subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos like this. Please do let me know in comments what you thought of this and what other kinds of videos you would like to see. I hope you have a good day. Bye.